Bless up, everybody. It's DJ Bubbles, aka the CEO for Black People United for Change. We've got 12 more days left till the demonstration at the Legislative Assembly grounds of Ontario. That's 12 days. April the 11th is just around the corner. And today is Sunday, so I was thinking about some of our late but great heroes and contributors to liberty for the Black people. There were two times in the history of liberating those of our ancestors who were literally in shackles and chains. The first appointed by God was Moses, who freed the slaves from Egypt to Canaan. You done know. And like any other leader, he faced opposition even from the very same people that he walked the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights to free. The second appointed was the great Harriet Tubman, the conductor of that underground railroad. And of course, she faced opposition because many of the slaves who were in bondage didn't realize that they were slaves. Even the slaves working in the house, enjoying the scraps that the master and the backrows gave to them, they were slaves too because they didn't have that freedom to say no. You don't know. There's too much going on against our community as a Black people worldwide. And we've seen how unifying Black people can make a big difference. When we watch George Floyd murdered right before our eyes, unity took change to take place. It was Black unity that ensured that that police officer was not found not guilty, like we've seen happen so many times. And if we want to see changes in Canada, if we want to see changes in Ontario, if we want to see a law passed that says, hey, it isn't okay to minimize all that the Black people have been through, being enslaved, discriminated against, making it legal to shed our blood in the street. If we want to see changes happen, we have to come together. We can never ever do it alone. Put it this way: there's so many Black organizations with the same vision and mission statement, but it's so very hard for the Legislative Assembly to decide, should we fund this Black organization or listen to that Black organization? Which one out of the 50 Black organizations do we take seriously? Imagine if we all came together. They would have no choice but to take us as a people seriously, and changes would be made. Because when we stand together, we make a mighty sound, just like they did across the borders when our brothers and sisters came together and marched against the live injustice we saw committed against our brother George Floyd. We can do it here in Canada too. The problem is that we lack unity within the community. You don't know. It's inevitable that even amongst our community, we're going to face betrayal or those who do not wish for things to change because they're comfortable with the way things are. But let me just tell you something straight up. When we think of great advocates and activists like Fred Hampton, who was betrayed by a brother, William O'Neill, what did it benefit William O'Neill? Like Judas Iscariot in the Bible, he took himself away. You don't know, because he had to live with himself. And there's a great saying that goes, there is no voice as terrible that can get to the mind as the voice of your conscience. What I want to say, people, is that the changes we want to see, it's not for me, It isn't for my best friend, my boyfriend, or those who are working alongside Black People United for Change and EA Public Relations. The changes we need to see, that we have to see, that we demand to see, benefits each and every one of us. Do you know how many Black people populate Ontario? I'll tell you how much. Afrofest. Do you ever see the crowd of Black people there? Caribbeans, Africans alike. Multitudes of people go to Afrofest. Caravana. I never knew there was so much Black people until I in Ontario, Toronto, until I went to the very first Jump Up Festival. So you see how many of us there are? If we got together to do more than just shake our tails, you done know, but shake up that Legislative Assembly of Ontario and demand change, there's a whole lot we can do outside of having a good old time. You done know. Not everybody's gonna support, and maybe after 2 minutes of me doing this broadcast right now, this Sunday, you done know, maybe people will keep scrolling by, and that's cool. Harriet Tubman did not lose her way. She wasn't afraid to die. She kept freeing and freeing thousands of slaves. I want to see achieve for my people as a Black woman. You done know that we free our minds just as much as we freed our wrists and our ankles. Because freedom of the mind is what it takes. Unity within the Black community is what it takes. Because once we can learn to love each other and hold hands, join hearts, and join spirits, and unite as one, definitely a difference and change can be made. You done know. The very first trip Harriet Tubman took, she escaped alone by herself. And sometimes you have to start the journey alone. But when others see, yo, this trip, this underground railroad is doing something for our people, others will come and follow. You done know. And ride the train to freedom. Same thing with Moses. The first time he stepped to old Pharaoh, he was all by himself. God didn't create his children to be locked up in shackles and chains in the mind, by the wrist, or by the ankles. He created us all equal, you done know. And it's time that we live up to be the people that God created us to be. I'm hoping to see you there in 12 more days at the Legislative Assembly grounds of Ontario at 111 Wellesley Street West. You just have to get out of Queen Street subway station, and it's right there. I'll be there before 1 o'clock. It's time that we unite and let's make a difference, not for us, for the children coming and coming after. It's time that we get together and make a true change up here in the Big Abad North. You done know. I just want to say bless up, and it's always my wish and it's always my blessing to my people. Power to the people. Power to the people. You done know. April 11th inside the Legislative Assembly grounds of Ontario. DJ Bubbles, aka Vanessa St. Louis, the CEO of Black People United for Change. I am over and out. Black power, you done know.